Okay, hi everyone, and thanks for coming to our third episode of the Caregiver Collaborative series. Again, if you have not seen the first two, I am James Whitney, and I work for the Maryland Assistive Technology program, which is underneath of the Maryland Department of Disabilities. And I'm going to get into today's topics, which revolve around independent living aids, and that could be for the bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, eating, and so forth. So again, we are a statewide resource that provides statewide access to assistive technology, or AT, through equipment demonstrations, loans, reuse, financing, and training. And I'll get into each of those here and talk about them a little bit more in depth really quickly before we dive into the topic for today's episode. And our website here is www.mdtap.org. So what is assistive technology, or AT? It's a wide variety of items, which can be anything from low-tech devices such as canes, or like low-tech handheld glass magnifiers, or it could be anything like screen readers, CCTVs, video magnifiers, eye gaze technology, speech software, dictation, and so forth. So it could be low tech to high tech and anything in between. And the idea behind AT is to increase an individual with a disability's independence. So here is our flow chart. This is assistive technology services flowchart that we kind of follow these guidelines. So I'm going to kind of just run through what that might look like. So first starts with the access and how do you reach us? And that might look like a phone call or an email to either me or anyone else on our team, or just emailing our general account, which will then forward that to us. It could also be filling out our online survey on our website, mdtap.org. And that asks you just a couple of general questions just about kind of what the nature of your request is and contact information and so forth. So then I can then get in touch with you and see if we can help you out and set up a time for a consultation. And a consultation would precede a device demonstration typically. And that would look like me sitting down with the individual with disabilities, or it could be their caregiver or family, mom or dad, or therapist. Whoever wants to be involved is always invited for this conversation. And during that consult, I'll ask a few questions about that individual's disabilities, their abilities, kind of like where they might be struggling or wanting to increase their participation in certain activities, become more efficient, successful, and so forth. With could be anything in their day-to-day life. So after I kind of paint that picture of what the individual is looking for, what they're like, and all the details and so forth that go along with that, then I might have a couple ideas in mind for a couple recommendations. Like, I think this device might really work for you, or this device. And at which point I can do a device demonstration, and then I can showcase those devices. I can demonstrate them for you, whether that be on Zoom in a virtual consult, or that be in person, face-to-face, if you come into our library in Central Baltimore. Then I can demonstrate those devices. I can allow you to play with them if we're there in person and kind of try them out, or I can just kind of talk about them and show you online. I can send you some videos of maybe other people using them. And at which point, then it's an open discussion, and if all parties agree that you might like to try that, take it home with you, have it at school, work, or just at home, or wherever you might be in your natural environment with that device, then we are able to loan that device out to any individual who uses our services for up to 30 days. And that gives our clients a chance to try all things out, see what works for them, see what doesn't work, which is also valuable information, is to find out, okay, I don't like that. And that'll save that individual from maybe buying that device, or putting any amount of money towards it when it's not really a good fit for them, and it might not be used or just sit in a box. So we're here to kind of help to eliminate as much of that as possible, and to help inform our clients' purchases. And then if they do wish to move forward with a purchase, the acquisition piece down here, then we don't actually sell any devices personally here. That's not what we do, but I can help find vendors. I can help price comparison shop. And at times I can help locate discounts and other resources that might be able to bring that cost down. It just depends on what company, vendor, and product, but sometimes we are able to find those discounts. And then our reutilization and state financing, I will get into that a little bit later, but we do have a reuse arm that does rely on donations. And we also have a state financing arm that is the Assistive Technology Loan Program, the ATLP, that is able to provide low interest financing to our clients for the sole purpose of purchasing assistive technology devices. And that could be anywhere from $500 all the way to $50,000. And that is through our program, but that is not where I work. So that is with Tanya Goodman, is the director of the ATLP. And her contact information can be provided, so that way people can inquire more questions and find out more about the ATLP, which serves a lot of Maryland, helping access the funds to purchase these devices. So really quick, this is our website, just a quick snapshot of it. And we have lots of links, but a few notable links on this website would be our virtual AT library. And that has pictures with descriptions of a lot of our AT devices that we have acquired over the years. And that is basically there to give our clients a chance to see what we have ahead of time, or find out just, okay, I've seen a couple of video magnifiers, but which other ones do you have? You know, and just to kind of see the breadth and depth of our AT library. It doesn't have every single device, so it's still a good idea to inquire with us and maybe ask about maybe anything else we might offer or have access to. But oftentimes it's fairly accurate, but we are always buying new devices and things like that. So it's not always exactly up to date, but we try our best to keep up to date. But either way, we also have a home modifications directory that is chock full of good information for anyone who's looking to modify their house, or maybe adapt a driving vehicle, or anything like that. But the home modifications directory, is more in regards to housing and just making those modifications. So whether that be putting a ramp in and out of the house, or widening doorways, or lowering countertops, or adding, grab bars and handles throughout the stairwells and bathrooms and showers, and so on and so forth. It's chock full of information, complete with tax info, contractors, vendors, and just really paints the picture of kind of how to go about that process of home modifications. We also have a loan closet directory that has lists and details of lots of nonprofit organizations in the States. So like Lions Club, Salvation Armies, church groups, and so forth, that do have durable medical equipment loans. And that might be given away, that might be just a loaner, it might have costs associated with it, it might not, it might be free. All that information is in that loan closet with each nonprofit, and kind of what you might expect each of those to have. Because we don't do durable medical equipment, anything that's sanitary equipment like bedside commodes, raised toilet seats, shower chairs, tub benches, walkers, roll waiters, also mobility equipment we don't like to do and really don't have a part in, because that should be a specialist, a physical therapist, or a mobility specialist, or a seating and positioning specialist should do those evals and put the clients in the correct mobility device and seating and positioning, so that way they're in a safe position. So we don't like we don't do consultations regarding those devices, but some of those can be found in those directories. But you should always consult with a specialist before doing anything with mobility. And also our archived webinars are also on here. Excuse me. So any of the webinars that we've done in the past, which are based around lots of different topics, which could be adaptive dining, adaptive gaming, which is like playing video games with like switches and other peripheral access. It could be for blind low vision devices, deaf, hard of hearing devices, visual alerting systems, and so on and so forth. So we do have some of our webinars archived from previous trainings and so forth. And a little bit about me. I am James Whitney. I am from Salisbury, Maryland, so the Eastern Shore. I went to Salisbury University, graduated with a bachelor's in psychology and a minor in sociology. And I went on to pursue a doctoral degree at Virginia Commonwealth University in occupational therapy. So I've been working with Maryland Assistive Technology program as an AT clinician. And I've been able to use my background with OT and helping individuals increase access and independence with their daily tasks, activities, and occupations, and helping our clients do that through the use of assistive technology devices, adaptive equipment, softwares, and so forth. So it's been really great being a part of this program and using my expertise and background to pair that with AT and to spread that all over the state of Maryland and increase our Marylanders' access to these devices. So anyway, let's get down to today's episode for the AT for Caregivers webinar series. This is episode 3, which is all about independent living aids. So first, we're going to talk about bedroom aids and just different devices that might show up in the bedroom and help with dressing. So this is the dressing stick. This is a very OT device, as this is often given to patients for a variety of reasons. It might be just post-surgery, could be acute care, it could be anyone post-stroke, TBI, any reason that you might have limited mobility in your shoulders and upper extremities, that you might need additional help with donning and doffing clothing, jackets, shirts, and so forth. This is a dressing stick that makes putting on and taking off clothing much, much easier by being able to use something like this. So it can tug stuff off your shoulder, off your body. It can be used to feed your arm through the sleeve, and so on and so forth. It can also help you don and doff shoes and things like that, although there are long-handled shoehorns as well that are probably more appropriate for the shoes, but like this device could help you kick them off as well. So it's got a nice hook on one end that could help you pull maybe a zipper up, or even grab hold of your belt loops, pull those up so you can get your pants up. And then it's got a couple different shapes on the opposite end that can help with just any way that you can use it is the right way. So however I can twist that and contort it and help it get a shirt off my shoulders, then that's a good way to use it. So it's 28 inches in overall length. And it's, like this one here is made out of wood, but they come in all shapes and sizes really. Also very OT device is the button hook. This is one of the first devices I learned about in the OT school, but either way, this can help individuals button buttons either one-handed or with limited dexterity or fine motor control, or maybe arthritis or anything like that, that having your hands kind of pinched down and grabbing a small button might be a little bit extra difficult for you. So, this is a great device for anyone trying to button, pants, shirts, or anything else. So it feeds through one of those slits, grabs a hold of that button, and then once you pull it tight, then I can pull it back through the initial slit that I started with, and the shirt will button. So yeah, it's got a built-up handle, so it's got a wider grip, and it can help people get those buttons buttoned or maybe a little bit easier. Also, other options could be Velcro conversion kits. So if I have a button shirt, but it's no longer working for me, then instead of buttoning it, I can Velcro it shut. So it still looks normal, or, I say normal, but it still looks like a button shirt in case somebody doesn't want to draw attention to that fact that they might need help with the donning and doffing shirts and adding Velcro and things like that. So it helps that user continue to remain discreet and have their clothing look the way that it has in days past. So anything can be essentially Velcro converted. As far as shirts and pants, instead of buttoning, you can always add a strip of Velcro on there. Also, so over here is adaptive shirts. So these, it's a $79 shirt, so it's not exactly cheap, but it's stylish looking, and it's got Velcroed cuffs and buttons. So this is an option for individuals who maybe don't want to convert their clothing, but just buy a couple new shirts that are easier to take on and off. So this is the Bow Men's White Oxford long sleeve shirt, and also comes in a style for women as well. So this is a red shirt that this woman's wearing with the cool polka dots on the collar and cuffs. So again, stylish shirt, and it's got Velcroed, cuffs and buttons and things like that. So it makes it, again, easier for donning and doffing. And I mentioned the long-handled shoehorn earlier in this presentation. So I did want to just highlight that one more time. And by long handled shoehorn, this thing, is fairly long. Doesn't have an exact inches of length, but I'd say it's at least 2 to 2.5 feet, kind of like the dressing stick, but it's able to help you put your shoes on and even kick them off and just sliding your heels down that groove as it's in the back of the shoe. So it's like any other shoehorn, but longer handle so you don't have to bend down as far, and it's got a nice handle on it, a little more ergonomic. And next we have the sock aid, another OT device that is often used in therapy sessions with clients and patients. But this is the sock aid. So as you can see here, if you put a sock around the plastic of this device, so it's kind of cone shaped like this, and then I would put the sock, I would feed the sock down it as it's shown in this picture here. And it's got 2 handles that have nice grips, and I can then place my foot in that trough, basically cut out plastic. And then when I pull those handles up towards my body, towards my knee, and pulling them more proximal to me, then it will put my toes in the far end of that sock, and it will pull it up my foot and up my leg. So it can make it easier for maybe someone that just had hip surgery, has hip precautions, can't lean forward too much, or someone who is a wheelchair user who leaning forward too much can be a fall risk and a safety risk. So for any reason or another that you might need assistance with reaching down and putting a sock on your foot, this is a great option, and can be used with people among all kinds of different abilities and disabilities. Also, just a quick and easy way to adapt a shoe so that you don't have to tie your laces nearly every time is to use elastic shoelaces. So basically you put your foot in the shoe, tie it up, as tight as you like it. And with the elasticity, as I pull the tongue, as kind of shown in that picture, it'll stretch out. I can fit my foot in it, and then it should tighten right back up because it's elastic. So that might make it easier for some to just keep their shoes with elastic laces. You don't have to keep tying them, as that can be pretty difficult to do sometimes, especially with anyone who has fine motor control limitations or a dexterity impairments of any sort. Over here is a bed rail assist. So basically this goes underneath your mattress. It's got that long bar attached to it. And this can help prevent, maybe falls. It can help people sit up and get out of bed, transferring in and out with a little extra safety handle there. It's got adjustable legs for height, for different height beds and bed frames. And it even comes with a nifty bag on the side of it for maybe a remote control or magazines or anything like that. So this is the bed rail assistance for transferring in and out and just extra stability, maybe holding on to it while you put your shoes on and off, or putting your pants on. So it never hurts to have a little extra handle nearby. And over here, over bed table. So this can be great for anyone who just might need to be in bed, or just wants to have more access to technology and other things while they are in bed, or for any other reason. So basically, I can use this as a dining table, a laptop tray, really for anything that you could possibly use a table for. This will roll right underneath your bed and provide you a nice table that has adjustable height and everything. And it's even got little edges on the front and back. So if I need to angle it towards me to see better, it won't slide in my lap. So this is an over bed table, excuse me. Also, having night lights can also help decrease fall risk by keeping parts of the room lit even at night. So instead of just wandering and you can't see too well, having a light here or there could make all the difference in the world with being able to find your steps, not trip over things, and get to the bathroom or wherever you're headed, or hopefully not stumble across something or fall or bump into the walls or any furniture or anything. So just even something as simple as a nightlight could be something bought and purchased for caregivers to help their clients just be safer throughout the house, especially in the middle of the night. And also, so durable durable medical equipment, something that we don't loan out in our program, but doesn't mean we can't talk about it and kind of discuss that here. But a bedside commode could be great to have, especially for caregivers, treating clients and patients, or not treating so much as, caring for, and just being as, empowering and supportive is, it's useful for a person that might be weak or unsteady to have this bedside commode nearby. Also, if it's an emergency and you can't get to the bathroom as quickly as you'd like to or need to, having this nearby is always a great option, at least just to have the option, just in case. You never know. And it may be safer just to transfer right to this thing than trying to speed walk to the bathroom or anything like that. And it can raise up and down. So also, if somebody has hip precautions, as we were kind of mentioning earlier, if you have anterior hip surgery, you aren't supposed to lean forward too much, as it could affect the incision site, the stitches, and all of that stuff. So it's good to have the option of raising up your toilet seat, so it's easier to keep your leg and hips not at a 90-degree angle, but instead I can keep them on my leg, instead of up here like this, I can keep it flat out like that because I can sit higher up. So that is the bedside commode and adjustable height toilet seat. So those are just a few things that, it's small stuff could make all the difference in just helping someone be a little bit more independent and safe in their bedroom. So I just wanted to highlight a few of those. So I'm going to talk now about adaptive dining and kitchen aids. So it could be something, as we talk about low tech versus high tech. Right here is a meal lifter plate. And this could help someone self-feed more efficiently by having your plate, instead of it being right here, I could raise the plate up on this meal lifter, and now I have a little bit less distance between fork or spoon and plate. So instead of going all the way down to the table, now I have to just go down a little bit. So it's not as much movement. It may be that just that little bit of being raised up is all that individual needs to help with self-feeding. It could be for a number of reasons someone may benefit from a device like this. This is the meal lifter. Also a good idea, or it could potentially be a good idea for caregivers to have, certain devices like this for their clients, patients, family members, is high side dishes. So if somebody wants to eat more independently, not spill food off the side of the plate, it's good to have either a high side dish, kind of like right here, almost as if it's a bowl, but really it's not a bowl, it's just a high side dish. Then I have more dish and bowl and backboard to scoop against, or I could get a clip-on food guard, as you can see over here. So I can clip that on a pretty large variety of plates. So not every plate, if they're too big or too small, it might not fit, but there's a sweet spot for a lot of plates it'll fit on, and then I can scoop food against that plate clip, the food guard. So yeah, it could be for many different reasons someone might benefit from this, but it could help someone more easily put the food on their fork or spoon and then be able to self-feed more independently. Also partition the plates. I'm sure everybody's seen one of these before, but it could always be a good idea. It's done, it's designed for users' convenience, and it helps keep the food items in one plate separate. And this could make it easier to round up the food without mixing it or dropping it on the table. So just having it kind of split up in different partitioned areas could be good for some people in self-feeding. Also, bowls that have suction pads on the bottom of them. It's relatively inexpensive, but it can actually suction down. So as I'm eating certain foods, I won't be just pushing the plate around. I would actually be, it would stay flat on the table, and I could scoop up food, cereal, whatever it might be, soup, and it won't have to scoot away from me by accident as I am scooping against the side of it. So to have the actual suction cup down could make all the difference there. And it could help also prevent accidental knocking over of the dish as well. Next, we're gonna talk about cups. So over here is a Spout cup. It's designed to deliver liquid to the center of your tongue, which can then be easier to swallow and safer to swallow as well. And it can be used to take water or mild to moderate thick fluids, maybe even such as yogurt or porridge. It may not be recommended for people who have a slower than normal swallow, or for people that need more than one swallow to manage one sip of liquid. But it can be a great way to deliver the correct amount of liquid to your tongue and then swallow safely without spilling, and so forth. Also, cutout cups. This is designed in a way that there's space for your nose, and when you tip the cup, this is meant to help you keep your head and neck in a safe chin tuck position when drinking. So the cutout cups are ideal for taking mild to moderate thick fluids. And by chin tuck, that's what we mean when you're having a sip and it has the cutout for my nose. So I can lift the cup up as high as I need to. And then a chin tuck might look like this. Actually tucking your chin, it helps initiate that swallowing reflex. And having a cup like this, it might make it easier to do so as I'm drinking and swallowing. And that's recommended for dysphagia patients who have a slower than normal swallowing rate, or they have cheeks and tongue that are either weak or move slowly, or if they easily spill liquids from the edges of their drinking cups when drinking, or if they need more than one swallow to clear one sip, or someone else is even feeding them, it might be good to have that cutout. So it helps clear more passageway for the nose. Whoops. So next is a weighted cup. And that might just look like just like one here. I've seen in lots of therapy clinics and things like that. But it's weighted, so it gives you a little bit more biofeedback. It can tell you, it tells your hand and your arm and your brain that, oh, I am holding something because look how heavy it is. So you don't accidentally forget and accidentally drop it. But it could also help with people with tremors, just to increase stability and help decrease shakiness and all of that. And yeah, overall, it's still just a nice insulated cup and can help people with that stability when drinking out of it. Also weighted utensils. So for similar reasons as the cup, we have weighted utensils. And that helps, it has that additional weight to help stabilize the hand and arm movements from those experiencing tremors. It can kind of help stabilize that through how heavy it is. Also provides that biofeedback to increase your body's awareness of where your hand is in space. And each utensil here by itself is about 7.2 ounces. So almost half a pound. And it's also dishwasher safe, which is for this set specifically, we do have this exact set in our library. And that is $49.99, and it is dishwasher safe. So other kinds of utensils that might be useful to some would be like built-up handles. And that could help for anyone that has a lack of muscle control or have restricted hand movements, or arthritis. It's got foam tubing, or I'm sorry, in the top right picture, there is foam tubing that can be purchased. And as you see with that spoon in there, it can be easy to interchange, maybe spoon, toothbrush, even pencil, pen, anything like that. And I can put different things, and each of those colors has a different size hole or tube or like passage through that tube. So I might get, hey, blue one's got a much larger hole through it, and then the red slightly smaller, and then the white cream colored one slightly smaller yet. So it just depends on what kind of thing I'm putting in there, but that could help. It's a relatively low cost way to make anything built up, and I can pull those out and put new things in. So one tube could have lots of different uses there. But also other things you could buy would be like this 4-piece built up handle silverware kit that we also have this in our library. It's great. I really like them just based on the overall grip of the utensil there. It's just wider grip, can help with anyone with like weak grasp or lack of muscle control, as we said earlier, or anyone that has fine motor control impairment or dexterity impairment, or has arthritis or anything like that. Much easier to hold on to, and it puts less strain on the small joints and your distal upper extremities. So like your proximal and also distal interphalangeal joints, and all those small joints in your hands and stuff. So instead of having to make them very tight to hold on to a little floor, now you have a nice built up handle and you don't have to really squeeze your hands so tight. And down here at the bottom right is it's a universal built up handle. So as you see, there's lots of different items in that. So I could buy one, I could put a fork in it, toothbrush, even a razor or a pen. So it's supposed to be universal. And so just real quickly, other types of handles to help with self-feeding. Could be something like a T-grip, it's got an angle on it, so I don't have to turn my body around so much. Or I don't have to turn my arm and upper extremity around so much. Also down here is finger loops. So that's dining with dignity. Down here is the second one. And that's got loops on it so that I could actually loop those around my fingers. And it'd be easier to bring that to my mouth. And at the very bottom, there's the ergonomic ball handle, which it's a little bit weighted. It's not crazy heavy, but it's got a bigger bulbous handle on it, easier to grab and hold on to. And just overall easier to fit into your hand. And it's got that wider bulb, so easier, it just fits a little bit easier in your hand, and it can be held in a number of different ways. So it can be held kind of like this, you can hold on to it, even like this. So it just depends. Basically what works for you for any of these devices with grip is what works for anybody. So our next device that I want to talk about is the Robe robot. And this is the self-feeding robotic arm. This is one of our newer devices that we acquired in our library. It's got 4 different portions or dishes that fit inside of the device. And that is dishwasher safe, is that bowl part. That's got 4 different bowls. But the idea behind this is that it's a 2-switch activated system. So it's got 2 different switches, or basically buttons, that plug into it. So I could hit one switch to actually have the robotic arm switch between bowls, and the other switch would actually tell it to scoop out a bite of whatever food that might be, and then bring it up to an eating level. And that eating level for where that spoon is positioned can be adjusted, as it has a teaching mode. So I can press teach, I can adjust that arm either up or down, and I can extend it out slightly. So just based on torso height, or how tall someone's wheelchair, or also table height. So I could teach it to actually like raise or lower depending on like where I needed it to be. So this is great among caregivers in lots of different settings, assisted living, and really it has lots of different applications that it could be used for. But it's really great with the switch system here, is that I can position those switches anywhere. So whether I might be a quadriplegic or anything like that, is that I could have these switches. Maybe it could be mounted on a headrest, could be mounted anywhere on my body that I can have easy access to it. I could even hook up light touch switches that I could just waggle a finger or a pinky, and I could be able to operate the switches that way. So this is our Robe robot. And we do have this for loan in our library right now. So I'm going to fly to the next slide here. So we also have cut resistant gloves. And just like without getting into too much detail about these, basically it's got enough fabric and it's thick enough that as you're cutting foods, vegetables, whatever it might be, like doing any meal prep or even shucking oysters, or really doing anything. It doesn't even have to be cutting food. It could be carpentry, carving, woodworking. Basically helps it so that the edge of that blade can't pierce through that fabric. And it helps you just essentially just not cut or injure yourself as you are doing those tasks. And it's relatively cheap too. For these cut resistant gloves, they are $12. So it's not too bad for helping each person prevent injury and cutting themselves. So next we have the Giraffe Bottle. So it's basically just a regular drinking water bottle, except for the fact that this one has the modular hose that is able to add or subtract any pieces of this hose. That I can customize the length of that straw, and I can make it as long as I need to. I can bend it and kind of twist and contort it. So maybe if I have it attached to the back of my wheelchair, or maybe it's sitting across the room, or it's in a certain way that I can actually have it so it's positioned in a way that I can just kind of lean my head forward and the straw can be there readily available for me to take a sip out of it. So it's a great, it's definitely a great system here that allows all different kinds of essentially customizable setups for that straw and can be used for a whole range of different users across abilities and also disabilities. And it also can be mounted to like a table, desk, bed, or chair. So next, I want to talk about Liftware, which is a company. Liftware has a couple products that we personally own in our library. And this top one in this top picture is the Liftware Level. And that is retailed for $195 for the starter kit. And that comes with a spoon and fork attachment. It's basically a computerized handle that keeps the levels attachment level, which is a very intuitive name, calling it to be a level, but it keeps it so that maybe as I bend my arm or maybe as I rotate backwards or forwards, it'll actually keep that spoon completely level. So that way it's not tipping over, or as I bend or kind of twist, it'll actually keep it level. So however I move that handle, as kind of shown in that picture, it'll actually keep that spoon on a level plane. And then at the bottom down here is the Steady. This is the Liftware Steady, and that's got a built-in gyroscope that can basically help offset rigid movements and tremors, and kind of help that not be so static and essentially not move so much. So as I might have a tremor and I might move my hand a little bit back and forth, it has a little bit of give inside that device. So that way it's not as rigid and it doesn't shake as much as just a static spoon or fork would shake. And it's supposed to help offset some of those movements. And both of these devices are battery chargeable and they're not machine washable, but the attachments are. So I can pop that spoon or fork attachment off this device. I can pop that in the dishwasher, totally fine. It just has a magnet inside of it. But the other part does have electronics and computers and stuff inside of it. So you wouldn't want to get that part wet, but the other attachments can be. Okay, perfect. So next I have bathroom aids that I'm going to pop into and just talk about different things that you could install or purchase for your bathroom to help increase independent living, safety, and access. So really quick, it could be something as simple as a non-slip mat, which is also a kind of low-tech assistive technology. Anything that can help you not have a fall or help to overall minimize fall risk is having something like this. It's a non-slip mat. I'm sure everybody's seen one of these before, but it goes great inside the tub, but also outside of it as well as you're getting in and out. I would probably put one on both sides of it just to help with that slip, and that coupled with like grab bars, handrails, and all could really help decrease an individual's chance of falling as they're getting in and out of the shower. So as a caregiver or mom or dad or family, like this might be a great thing to have installed in a loved one or client or patient's room and or house, and having these in any area that might be subject to getting wet or just being extra slick, even on stairs. This could be cut into little strips, or also get grip tape or anything that has a little bit more adhesive and texture. And that might help someone who's even wearing socks or anything like that to not be able, it gives you just a little bit more texture so that you don't slip as easily. And again, so this is a piece of durable medical equipment. This is a tub bench. And again, this is not something that we do offer in our loan closet, but I did want to still talk about it because I think this is a great device. It's essentially that it has 2 legs inside the bathtub, 2 legs outside the bathtub, but it's long enough that I can sit down outside the tub and I can scooch my butt a little bit over, and I can kind of have my legs picked up and put them in the tub. So it makes it a little bit easier to get in and out of the tub safely if I don't, have enough balance or strength to actually lift one leg up at a time and get it over that large tub height, which could be, 12 inches to 18 inches in height, and having to pick a leg up and kind of get it over that. It might be easier just to sit down, scooch over, and I could even shower and also kind of have that as like a 2-in-1. It's a tub bench for transferring, but it also acts as like a shower chair. And it also has rubber grips on each of the feet. So that helps give it a little extra stability. Even if it is wet, it should still be able to stick and kind of have that overall stability with being wet and on a bathroom floor. So that is a tub bench, and it's a great device, durable medical equipment. And also insurances might cover something like this. So it's always worth looking into. And also while you might be sitting down on a shower chair or tub bench, it might be a good idea to install a handheld shower head that is that's movable and able to be detached from the actual wall. So I can grab that with my hand and I can shower my head, shoulders, all the way down to my feet, but I don't have to stand, balance, and do all that for so long. I can sit down and I can just use my arm and I can spray that water wherever I need to. So it might make showering a little bit more safer and easier. And that those are pretty low cost. So like it could be anywhere from like around 25, 30 bucks, up to maybe 75, 80. It just depends on like what brand and like what actual product you are buying. But I bought in a few recently, actually, just to have my own condo, and it was like 40 bucks. So it's not too much money, and that might make showering just a little bit easier for individuals. So I'm going to move forward here. And also things like a long handled scrub brush, it's got an extra long handle. So if I can't, if I don't have that shoulder, overall just movement and shoulder flexibility, movement, strength, and I can't reach all the different areas of my body, then I can use that long handled shower brush that I can get my back, feet, all over my body with that length. So it's a good idea to have, and it can help someone just have a little bit more success with showering and not needing any additional help in the bathroom. And they're also like very relatively low cost. And also handrails for stairways and grab bars, and also for bathrooms and things like that. So it might be a good idea to have one of these like by a toilet, just to help with transferring up and down from toileting, sitting, standing, but also in the shower. It gives you one more base of support as you're getting in and out of the tub. Also handrails and things like that up and down stairs is also a great place to install these. And they do sell ones in stores that have suction cups and things like that. You can just kind of suction them down. But I don't recommend those actually, because just one wrong move or you put too much weight on those suction cups, and who's to say it's going to stay there and be stable. So it might work, and it might work for a short period of time, and then it might get looser and looser as you use it. So I recommend hiring a contractor to go in your shower or in your house and find those studs in your walls and actually screw these down to those studs. And it's going to give you that extra stability and really just give you that safety that you're looking for when holding on to a grab bar. You don't want to have to worry about the suction cups popping off. So I would always recommend calling some kind of contractor or a handyman and having them install these in your house on the actual studs. And then as you are showering or getting in and out of the shower, it could be difficult to actually dry your body off from head to toe with just a towel or a terry cloth. So what has been designed is an entire robe that can fit around your body that is an actual shower towel / terry cloth. So I can put this robe on, and then I can go about my business moving around, and it's going to slowly dry my body instead of having to take a towel and my head, my arms, my feet. So if I don't have a lot of overall just movement in my upper extremities, this might be very difficult. Also, if I fatigue easily, then it takes a lot of energy just to be able to dry your body off head to toe. And if I don't have that kind of energy, I can't expend that. Then I might be wet for a long period of time, which might increase fall risk, slippage, and all of that. So having something like this terry cloth robe could be a great thing to add for a client. And as a caregiver, this might be something that you want to have readily available for your patients, for your clients, so that they're not sitting wet for long periods of time and that they're able to dry off and just be safer. And I found this other really cool towel online. It's called a mobility towel. And the idea behind this is that it's pretty much a regular standard towel, but it's got a couple loops basically installed onto it or sewn into it. And that's for people that might not have full range of motion in their hands. I can't make a full fist. It might be hard to grab onto that towel and really have a good hold on it, especially with a spinal cord injury and people that kind of have loose grip. So having these loops on this towel, then I can just loop my whole hand through it. And then with my wrists, then I can kind of take the towel up and down my legs, torso, arms, and all that, and have a lot more success than fumbling around with just a regular towel that doesn't really have anywhere to hold on to it. So the Test Mobility Towel is a great alternative and could be useful for a lot of different clients, patients, or anyone in between, family. And it's only $29. So I say only, but in the grand scheme of things, it could be worse, and that might be the difference between being able to independently dry yourself off and not. So that's just one more device, or AT, which it still is AT, even though it's a towel. It is designed for people who have disabilities to make their showering and drying experience more smooth and successful. And also, I did want to talk about what is this? Sorry, I'm on the wrong slide here. It's a bidet. So having a bidet might be a great alternative to being able to essentially, clean yourself up after using the bathroom, and being able to spray that water. It might be easier than having to reach all the way, around behind your hand, or even doing that multiple times in a row. It could cause fatigue. You might not have that kind of shoulder movement that's readily available. So using a combination of toilet paper and bidet might make it all that much more easier for that person to successfully use the bathroom and successfully clean themselves up afterwards. And these are actually like relatively low cost and can be installed by yourself as well, or having someone help, but they're right around $35, $40 online. And it pretty much goes underneath the toilet seat lid. And we have a couple more devices here for the bathroom. Just found this bathing cushion. So this is a device that it fills up with air. So it actually is it's inflatable, and it fills up with air. So it turns into like a seat. So I could sit down in the bathroom on top of this cushion, and then I could deflate it. Once I'm in the bathroom and I fill it up with water, I can deflate it. It'll sit me down as it has less and less air in it. It'll actually sit me down on the bottom of that tub. I can fill it with water, and now I'm in the tub full of water. I can shower, or bathe. And then when I'm ready to get out, I can press a button. I can inflate that back up to full air pressure, which will sit me up back to pretty much a sitting position in the tub. I can swing both my legs over to the side of the tub, and I can get out, and it might make it a lot more easier for transferring in and out of the bathroom. And it doesn't have any cords, which would be a high risk if it was plugged into the wall or something. This would be not recommended, but it just has batteries, and it is rechargeable. So it doesn't rely on plugging into any high electric current. And it can be inflated and also deflated to help people get in and out of the tub safely and be able to bathe independently. So this is a really cool device. It's pretty expensive, but I thought it would, it's always worth talking about just to give everybody the options of what is out there. So this is $747 retail, but a really cool device here. And also, so again, this is more luxury devices, but it's always good to see the options, because you never know. It could be worth it to you. So instead of drying off with a towel, so there are also essentially body dryers that can be installed into the side of your bathroom, like straight into the tile. It'll actually just blow air at you. So it's basically like the air dries you just by blowing air on you. So it's $1,990 for this, which is basically pretty luxury, having this into your house. But also it could make things safer for you, not having to dry off and have to bend over, and it could be a fall risk. So having this just straight into the side of the wall might make it that much easier and that much safer for someone to be able to shower. So you can't always put a price on safety, but definitely not one of the cheaper devices. But here at the bottom, and this bottom picture is the Viatech body dryer. And this is actually a little bit more affordable. It's $399, so still not crazy cheap, but it actually blows air straight up. So it looks like a scale that you would stand on and weigh yourself, but it doesn't actually weigh you. But it has vents all throughout it that would blow air straight up, pretty much through your feet, straight to your hair. So that's a little bit cheaper, and also an alternative to essentially using a towel and things like that. So I did want to discuss those. So that concludes the independent living aids. And I just want to briefly wrap up with just a couple of just housekeeping items, just things like that. So right here, we do have a video tour of our AT library. That's Denise Schuler. That's our colleague who I work with. She's an assistive technology specialist. She's been working here at MPTAP for about 15 years. And she has migrated and started to work a little bit more on our reuse initiative, which I will pan over here. one more. And our high-tech reuse program is housed in Columbia, Maryland at the Howard County Loan Closet. And this program works a little bit like ours, as ours is able to do 30-day loans for all of our products, and AT devices are all purchased brand new. But at the Maryland High-Tech AT Reuse Center, all those devices are based on donations. So when people no longer need them, then it could be donated to us, at which point it's cleaned up and refurbished and then pieced back together. And at that point, it can be given to clients for open-ended long-term loan. So still a loan, but instead of the 30-day timeline that we have on ours, this is open-ended long-term. So if somebody needs it for 1 month, that's fine, 2 months, it could even be a year, 5 years, however long that client needs that device, it's theirs to pretty much hold on to, with the expectation that it would come back one day. She does have a online inventory of the readily available AT devices at Matter, which is the acronym for the Maryland High-Tech AT Reuse Center. But I would always give her an email or a phone call ahead of time and just double check what she has available, as things are always going in and out. So her online inventory, it could be subject to change. But so there is the online tour of our AT library that has her going around all of our sections of assistive technology. So whether that be aids for daily living, environmental control units, blind low vision devices, also augmentative and alternative communication, and all kinds of different computer access, peripherals, keyboards, mice, and so forth. She goes through the entire library and highlights a few items from each of those sections. So I definitely implore everyone to watch that video and check that out. We also have a AT blog online that talks about, just cool experiences, maybe, like maybe a few cool devices that have just come out on the market recently. Could be a couple client highlights of just people that we've worked with. It could be other resources and initiatives the state is programming or setting up and putting together. So I would always check out our AT blog, see what we're talking about that day or a week or month. Also, we do have a Facebook, Twitter, and a YouTube and a TikTok that we just recently launched. A TikTok with our office assistant, Nora, who's put that together for us and has created a couple of videos that are on there. So I would definitely check out that. And also we have contact information. So our central mothership locations where I work out of, and that's in central Baltimore. And there's also phone numbers, email, and all the like here. So I would pause this and write down any of that information there. I told you about the Maryland High-Tech AT Reuse. So there is contact information at the bottom of this slide here with the phone number and email. So I'll reach out to them and inquire about what they have available if you're interested in any of those devices. It could be things like CCTVs, video magnifiers, iDevices, adaptive computer keyboards, mice, and like communication devices, amplified telephones, and more. So I'll definitely keep that in mind. And we also have regional partners with a couple centers for independent living. So like on the East Coast of Maryland is the Bay Area Center for Independent Living, and that is in Salisbury, Maryland. We also have contract with the Southern Maryland Center for Independent Living, that's in Mechanicsville. And we have our newest contract is with Resources for Independence, and that is in Western Maryland and Cumberland. And then other CILs that have community AT libraries would be things like the Image Center, also Independence Now, and also Accessible Resources for Independence, the Freedom Center, and the Howard County Loan Closet. So all these places serve specific counties, but they all have small AT libraries inside of their offices that are definitely worth checking out and reaching out to them about. And that concludes our third episode of the Caregiver Collaborative series. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and please reach out to me or anyone on our team with any questions. And I look forward to hearing from you. And thanks again for tuning in with us.